Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
It's the ultimate guide to anything Filipino in Las Vegas. This is the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show on PHLV Radio.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide here on PHLV Radio. I'm going to try something new and say, Maayong gabi sa iyong lahat. Is that correct? I'm practicing my Tagalog. But anyways, we have an exciting guest here today. He is part of the Insurance Group of Nevada, and we're going to talk about all the importance of that. His name is Dante, but before we get started, I just want to remind you all that you can watch us live on Facebook, you can watch us live on YouTube, also on Amazon Fire TV, and you can listen to us on the PHLV Radio app or get our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. All right, so let's get started and let's welcome Dante into today's episode. Hi, Dante.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's hot outside. Thank you so much for inviting me into your studio.
Oh, yes. Thank you for, being here. And we also have Kuya Gilbert here.
Hello.
And Ate Tony.
Ate Tony.
Can't get away. Okay, so Dante, tell us a little bit about, Insurance Group of Nevada and what it is that you do.
Sure. So Insurance Group of Nevada, we're a local independent insurance agency. We've been established since 2014. Mm-hmm. I've been a licensed agent since 2011, so I believe that would give me about 13 years of experience in the industry. We provide insurance from life to health, auto, home, to our small businesses, as well as our Western Union services, like money transfer services and money orders, and tax preparation work. We believe in partnering with the community, making sure everybody in the community gets the information so that we're able to make informed decisions.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like sometimes when people hear insurance, they get a little bit scared or they get a little bit weary and they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. But can you explain the importance of, having insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, all of that?
Yeah, so I'm going to use my brother, and we talk about it all the time. I think a lot of people say how insurance, that's just another bill, or insurance is a scam, and don't really need it. Well, I take it back to the early 17th, 18th century. It's how long insurance really been around.
Right.
And it's been around for the reality of risk. In life, there's risk. There's risk when we wake up every day, whether it be with our life, our health, or our life on this earth, our health, our cars, our business. We don't know what tomorrow would bring us. Mm-hmm. For example, we could get into our car and have an accident on the way to work. Or we can arrive to our business and realize we had a break-in the night before and they stole everything out of the store. The aftermath can be detrimental because now someone has to replace it. Mm-hmm. And the important thing about insurance is insurance is designed to make us whole again. So if we get into that car accident, we know because we have our insurance, they're going to get us another car. Hmm. They're going to be able to get us to work. If we get sick and we need to see the doctor or go to a hospital, we know we don't have to worry about seeing a $400,000 medical bill from various hospital. If we could have a business and someone breaks into our store over the night or our office and steal our computers, we know that that stuff is going to be replaced. And not and some insurance companies, and it's not just replacing it, it's the speed of it. And especially when we're talking about business, businesses, small businesses, like most businesses, like Insurance Group in Nevada, can't really afford downtime.
Yeah.
So when something happens, we have to make immediate action.
Right.
So we can get back into opening our doors again for the public. And it's vital because that small business owner has employees. Mm-hmm. Everybody's relying on the customers to come in, patronize the business, so that business owner and their employees can be able to put food on the table for their families. Couldn't do that if, like I said, someone did something bad and stole everything. Give you an example, the Cadillac converter theft.
Oh, yes.
That was going around the valley. Figure people have small contractors or small companies who may have a fleet of vehicles of 10 vehicles. Somebody jumps their fence, steals all of their Cadillac converters on their truck, on their work trucks. So now their employees can't work. Mm-hmm. Who replace? Well, that's where we'll risk.
Right.
We don't know if somebody can be able to jump over the fence and steal a Cadillac converter, but it happened. And insurance, those type of things are covered. Those things are covered under various policies, and that is known as what we call comprehensive coverage because it's theft. The vehicle was not moving, something happened to the car, so that those type of things are covered. In addition, various insurance companies work diligently, and I mean diligently, to get that business a replacement vehicle so that business can start their day. And they can serve their customers, our community.
So something as small as a catalytic converter will be covered. It's not, it doesn't have to be like the entire car itself, but something like that will be
Exactly.
covered. Wow. Yeah, that's really important. And like you mentioned too with the small business, my parents and I have a small business here in Las Vegas, and unfortunately a few years ago we got broken into, and they stole some of our belongings and some merchandise. And I remember my mom, thankfully, she had the insurance, and we just had to claim it, and they were able to give us a little bit to help us get back onto our feet. So it's stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's like a little bit of premium that we pay to these insurance companies, and most of the time it's like $1,000, $2,000 a year.
Okay. Are there different tiers too? Or is it mostly like, I'm not really too familiar with, insurance. I'm very young. So educate me. I'm sure the other young viewers would love it too.
So as far as tiers, not necessarily tiers per se, I would say the bigger the operation is, of course, the more it costs. And insurance is rated let's go back to that where we say about risk.
Okay.
There's different classifications. Now, when we talk about risk, yes, there is different tiers with risk. And there's risk transfer, risk avoided, or risk avoidance, or retention.
Okay.
Okay? So transfer, avoided, or retention. Okay. And this is where I get into that with my brother who says, hey, insurance is a scam. Well, here's the thing. Do we want to assume that risk if something happens to our Cadillac converter or somebody breaks into our store? Do we want to assume that ourselves and replace everything in there ourselves? In that case, we don't need insurance.
Right.
But sometimes those dollar amounts can get really expensive. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I tell my clients, well, how much of that are you willing to retain? In my case, I don't want to retain or none of it, so very little of it. So we transfer that risk to someone else.
Okay.
So now the other person is now assuming that risk. So that person says, okay, I will take the risk, but I want to be compensated because they're a business. And they're compensated based on the sales of the business, either the sales of the business or how much they're asking to insure. Most of the majority of the time, it's usually sales and payroll. is what they rate or price their policies. So it's usually something more like $2 or $3 on average. Some it's like $10, some it's like $1, but it's per $1,000 of revenue. And it comes out to be about $1,000, $2,000 a year at the bottom out the door rate. So $2,000 a year is going to protect me if someone steals everything out of the office or out of my store, or a customer comes in your store and they slip and fall, and the person results in medical bills that'll be $500,000.
Right.
So someone else is writing a check for $500,000 while I'm only giving them $2,000.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
So, answer your question, I would say, yeah, there's probably tiers, and that would be the transfer, risk transfer, avoidance, or we retain it.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really glad that you're educating us, because like I said, I'm young, and I've learned with my generation, a lot of us are either scared to get educated, really have no interest, and then before you know it, like you said, it's too late. Something happens, and then it's like, oh, we should have had insurance, and if only we knew at that time, we could have avoided all of the bills and all the, expenses that come with it. But with yours, because there's so many out there, in not just Nevada but everywhere, what sets Insurance Group of Nevada apart from all the other insurance groups?
That's a phenomenal question. And I get this from my brother. And years ago, he was a nightlife host or a VIP promoter. So we believe in 5-star customer service to each and every client without excuses. And when I mean by 5-star, I mean, Gilbert can probably attest to this, like being able to call your agent with a text message. Say, hey, can you do this for me? And it's done in the matter of like about an hour at the very most. But we take every account, every client, we give every person individualized attention.
Wow, yeah.
And like I said, Gilbert probably can attest to it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember Gilbert calls me my progressive agent. Right? So, yeah, so the same great brands that someone typically can go online and do, yeah, they can go online and do it. But when you have that agent is basically working for you.
Yes.
They're not biased to any specific company. If this company doesn't work, it may only work for maybe your car, not your house.
Right.
Multi-policy discounts are great, but they don't work in every case.
Okay.
Give you an example. With the restaurant industry, I saw a large rate increase within our restaurants. And I feel like they were our hardest hit, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. The cost for their property coverage went up about 50%.
Wow.
So as a broker, I thought about something creative, and I believe in splitting things up. So I would take 20 different coverages and place them for 20 different companies. And as a result, I saved one of my clients almost 35%.
Wow, yeah.
Of course, so when it comes down to it, people say, oh, how do I manage the billing, the payments? Well, you just manage with one agency.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 20 companies, but hey, that person only has one person that they're contacting.
Yeah, and I think people don't understand, like, 35% seems like a low number, but when you break down the numbers, it's a lot that you're saving.
Exactly.
I hope people understand that. Oh, go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So, like I said, talking about the risk, like I said, risk, we can retain it, transfer it, or avoid it. And like I said, going back into, I tell people, well, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, especially in this world. We don't know.
Yeah.
Are we going to do we want to retain this risk, or do we want someone else to do it for us?
Yes, yeah. Is there a
And,
way for people to reach out to you? Like, do you have a contact information, or how do they get involved? Like, say somebody's, really interested in learning or, getting insured. How can
Good
they
question.
reach you?
Really good question. So multiple ways to reach our agency. The most common way is our telephone number, 702-996-6434. The other way is our website, insurancechoice.us.
Okay.
So insurancechoice.us, or they can also reach gotax.us.
Oh, okay.
And it's short, and I kind of came up with that myself on the fly. And we get sick of it with the IRS, right? And all these taxing agencies, they're taxing everything. Sales tax, income tax, FICA tax, Medicare tax. So I just said, go tax us. Right.
Yeah.
Just go tax us.
Yeah, that's easy to remember.
And
Yes, go ahead.
So because you're in the insurance business, right? What's the riskiest thing you've done and that you need to be insured for?
oh, good question. So the riskiest thing that I have ever done was jump out of a plane at about 15,000 feet in the air. And it was someone ensuring that, of course, health and life would be the most applicable coverage. Is hey, because anything can happen, even a tandem jump. Like the parachute may not open and you don't make it.
Or you accidentally punched the instructor in the nose. That's what happened to me.
What?
I was so
Really?
excited. I punched him in the nose, and I didn't know because of all the gravity, like the force. And
my
when we
gosh.
landed, he's like, well, you almost knocked me out. So there's a risk.
That
I was
would've
18.
been-
I had no life insurance at the time.
Oh my
That would have
gosh.
been a perfect, situation and getting insurance, right? So
I never thought about that. But glad you brought that up. So
True story.
that actually goes into what we call personal liability coverage.
Oh.
So a simple accident such as
Something like
accidentally
that,
hitting
yes.
somebody is known as the personal injury. So personal injury, this is where we get the Glenn Lerners and all our personal injury attorneys come in. They want the big bucks. So this is where that big $500,000 really pays off, because again, it pays for our legal defense and it pays for any injuries we may have caused. Yeah, it was an accident.
Yeah.
We didn't intend to do it. We were just so excited when we jumped out that plane.
yeah.
I mean, my personal thing is when I jumped out that plane, it was like a renewed sense of life. Yeah, right?
You mattered.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything else insurance stuff aside? Is there anything you like to do in your fun time, or what are you doing when you're not
Jumping out of planes.
helping people with
Good
important
question.
stuff?
So, good question. So, I actually I bought an RV,
Oh.
and I feel like it was the best thing I ever done. And I saw Gilbert, he bought his travel trailer, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try this thing, but I did mine on a different level than Gilbert. I said, I'm going to live in it. And I did it for 8 months, and
Wow.
just experienced the lifestyle, and that lifestyle is just phenomenal.
Wow.
And when we talk about freedom and freedom of choice, that lifestyle just gives you so much. And I think there's
That's
a lot
amazing.
of bad publicity, of course, with it, where there's a lot of speculation. I see freedom, the freedom to choose, freedom to go anywhere,
Yeah.
the freedom just to enjoy life here on this
Amen
earth.
to that.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
Where'd you go?
So I actually Gilbert actually clowns me because I told him I got tired right after I exited the Lee Canyon. But I used to go to Lake Mead area, the Oasis, which is
wow,
one of my
yeah.
favorites.
Okay.
The KOA campsites. Not really real camping, but hey, it's camping for me, right? Where everything's all in one confined area. And you're just around a bunch of people, like-minded people. So, like I said, the people that is there is just phenomenal.
Wow. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
did that for 8 months, you said?
I did, yeah.
Wow. Would you do it for longer
I would.
if you could?
I would. And actually, I want to be able to upgrade my RV now
Yeah.
and get something bigger and go around the country.
Yeah.
You got to get
I mean,
insurance.
Why not?
I know, right? Don't forget that insurance.
Exactly.
More risk.
So,
Oh my gosh. So what's next on your, list of things to do besides RVing? Or are you like just focused on your business right now?
So, of course, the business and clients, customers is always the biggest priority. But my thing is, I love to travel.
Yeah.
And, of course, we know there's risk with traveling.
Yeah.
Even with RV life. And I remember I had a neighbor at the Oasis, and I helped her save about $1,500 a year.
Wow.
Wow.
A year? Wow.
A year.
And all you did was just.
And I gave her more coverage.
Yep.
And more
There you
coverage.
go.
So it's sometimes not about just being able to go online and purchasing the policy, because that could be detrimental.
Right.
Her first quote when she presented it to me was about $3,500 a year, just for bare minimum state minimum liability coverage. And I was able to give her the whole ball of wax coverage for the RV itself, and including temporary accommodations, and that's huge.
Wow, yeah.
Especially when you live in that lifestyle. The minute something happens, an accident that damages the RV, where are you going to live?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That insurance policy comes in and provides that temporary accommodations to while the RV is being fixed.
Yeah.
So not just repair the RV, but what are we going to do for tonight?
Yeah.
Right? What are we going to eat?
I feel like you have a really big heart,
Yeah.
and you really, really care, because there are a lot of agents that they're in it for the sale. I'm in real estate too, so I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are invested in your client, it shows, and we appreciate that as the consumers. So
Yeah.
thanks.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think that's what like when I asked you earlier what sets you apart, that is what drives people to you, because they want to feel like they're like they're cared for. They don't want to feel like they're just another number. And so I can really tell that with you, just like Tony said. So do you plan on doing insurance group like of Nevada for the rest of your life, or do you want to start something new or make your own?
Ooh, that's a hard one. Actually. So last year was one of my hardest years. I was fighting with depression, mental health.
Oh.
And I was on the verge of making some bad decisions, and that was selling the entire agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, no, because every last customer that's within the agency, I did it with my own pen. No help, no support. It was just me talking with neighbors.
Yeah.
Whether somebody bought from me or not, I didn't really care. My thing was, hey, did I give you a piece of information? Did I give you a takeaway?
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about.
Absolutely.
Right.
So whether somebody want to go down the street to the other agent and get the same exact thing, well, just take my takeaway.
Yeah.
Let's look at those key points, right? So it's education.
Right.
And it's always been that for me is more or less education and knowing what we got. What are we paying for?
Right.
Right.
Right. You don't want to be like roped into something that you don't understand, and that's your role, right? To educate them. Yeah. Do you have any advice for young even like young entrepreneurs, or even just business owners in general too, because I know insurance is important for that.
Yes. So insurance is, I put right next to banking, not the online banking. To speak with someone in person.
Okay.
Especially when we're doing our finances. We're not in stocks or financial planning or retirement planning, but it's something like retirement. When it comes to things like retirement planning, we wouldn't want to do that online, like the Webull, the Robinhood. Those are all great, but having that direct access to a live person within your community is big.
Okay.
Because that says, hey, I'm planning my retirement. And it's something I wish I would have did 20 years ago. I'm 40. I wish I would have did it 20 years ago.
40s Club.
Yes.
40s Club.
Yeah.
Hey, you too, Kuyaji. Let's go.
40s Club. Hold on, how old are you?
She's half our age.
I'm 28,
Oh my.
Oh, she's not that, she's not that young.
She's not that old.
but I'm still
She's
young.
Not that young.
Okay, anak.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh my
Ading.
gosh.
Ading.
Ading. That ading is what
Younger
they
sibling
call
or
young,
younger.
like young bro, young sis in Tagalog. And then, do you have any like last words for our viewers out there?
So this period, I believe there's a special open enrollment period for health insurance.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it is a result of the COVID-19 pandemic or the public health emergency where the CDC authorized millions of Americans across the country to be enrolled in our state Medicaid program to combat with the public health emergency. Well, those, just like the tax credits, are expiring, so people are seeing a big wake-up call. Again, this is where we want to talk with that tax professional because those credits are going away, and so is the marketplace credits.
Okay.
Okay. The Medicaid is also ending. So now people have to recertify for Medicaid coverage. The Nevada Health Link is offering income-based health insurance plans.
Okay.
Do I recommend somebody go out there and do it themselves? You could. Do I recommend it? No. Why? Because health insurance is much more than just looking at a summary or looking at the price. It's also looking at our deductible. What is our out-of-pocket medical expenses?
Right.
What is the out-of-pocket maximum limit? What does that mean? I'm healthy. Does that really apply to me? So it's questions that are different for every individual. So we all don't have our same needs. The second thing I'm going to say is because here's the thing. When it comes to like hospital bills, it could be somebody that's perfectly healthy and that never went to the doctor. Maybe they're in their mid-20s or mid-30s or mid-40s. And they never went to a doctor. And let's say one day we get sick. The first place we go is emergency room or urgent care or quick care.
Right.
Quick care are great because they're able to do a lot of the work that the emergency rooms can do. Just that when they do it, they may find something. Who knows? It's risk, right? That risk sometimes can have us in the ambulance headed to the hospital.
Right.
Well, the urgent care has a facility fee, which those usually minimal, about $300-500. So someone can essentially retain that risk. The ambulance ride itself, average cost about $1,500.
Whew.
Sometimes on a block.
Yeah.
So you ask us, it might be cheaper for me to turn a limo called
And then if they get lost,
right?
Waze isn't working.
So the biggest bill that I saw at the hospital was about $483,000.
Wow.
Oh my God.
The lowest bill that I saw was about $58,000. And these bills, when we're not insured, we ask the hospitals, they're nice enough to give us this 50% discount. Well, 50% of $250,000, of $500,000,
Yeah.
you still stuck at $250,000. Even at the lowest one, we're talking $40,000. Well, they give us a 50% discount. Now we're at $20,000.
He should have used Google Maps.
So then we say, okay, well, I can just file. I hear these comments too, where I can just file bankruptcy. Let it go into judgment and not just file bankruptcy.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
yeah.
Medical's not included.
You could.
Yeah.
Essentially, you probably could. But again, that means you got to deplete all of your assets,
Yeah.
including your bank accounts. In addition, you got to pay an attorney. Well, most people don't. But again, it's DIYers. Is it good to file bankruptcy by yourself?
Yeah.
Not really. I would say no because, we don't know. Laws change.
Right.
And in this country, there's a couple of things that's so complex. It's so complex that we don't know everything. And tax codes, like tax law, the legal system. The legal system is so complex. People think we know the law, but there's different
there's
things
so
within
much.
the legal, within our laws, both on state, local, federal laws, that it's no way possible that an average person would know that. Just like with our insurance policies.
Yeah. Wow.
So I always leave with this: is to speak with that local person, local professional, that local tax preparer, that local insurance broker. Speak with that person directly, and most of the time it's no obligation.
Yeah.
So
It's free to get educated, everyone.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
like with insurance company, we provide no obligation quotes. We provide quotes in less than 10 to 15 minutes. No one's under no obligation,
Yeah.
but we get the education.
Wow.
And most importantly, we do get to shop at the carriers. And the insurance company in Nevada, we do shop about 100 different insurance companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Dante. I just want to say thank you again for, coming on our show because, like I said, this is really important to learn about. And as I hope a lot of the viewers can, feel through the screen and hear through the radio how passionate and caring Dante is with helping the community. So I highly, highly suggest you, reach out to him, reach out to Insurance Group of Nevada if you do not have any insurance, and, just get educated. Like he said, he'll do a free, no obligations for you. Just, it's really important, and I highly recommend him. So anyone else have any last words before we end today's episode?
No, it's rare to find a Dante. So
Yeah.
go get him.
Yes. Kuya G?
Yeah, no. I want to thank Dante. Like I said, I've been with Dante's insurance company, using his services for the last almost 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a broker, so it's like he's not one company.
Yeah.
I went from Allstate with Dante, and then we went to another company. What was that last company? Safeco, which
yeah.
is under Liberty Mutual, and then the last one was Progressive, and I was able to save, really save.
Significant.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
So instead of paying $650, now I'm at what, $450
Out the door.
Oh,
out
yeah,
the door every
see.
month. That's a
Everything.
big savings.
Let's go to
Everything.
dinner.
Big savings. Jollibee.
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 Plug. Crab and Spice.
Oh, layo.
Use Waze.
Alrighty. So I just want to say thank you all for watching the Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide radio show. This is your host, Cirimille, along with Kuya G, Ati Tony, and Dante. We are signing off. Catch us again next week. We are live Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, only here on
Las
PHLV
Vegas.
Radio. Good night.
Good night.
The Las Vegas Filipino Resource Guide is a vital tool and a helpful media outlet for business enterprises to connect and to reach out to Filipino American consumers. For more information, go to www.lasvegasfrg.com or you can email at lasvegasfrg@gmail.com.
Just like a friend from back home.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV Radio.